Hello everyone, this is Dalster and welcome to another episode review for Dark Side of the Ring, and in this video it focuses on the career and whereabouts of Billy Jack Haynes. Billy Jack is still alive and is currently in prison. He recently killed his wife last year, and we're actually going to get an interview from him through this episode as he is still in prison. I don't know much about him other than the fact that he killed someone, so this should be very interesting and a little intense. I'll go over the episode first and share my thoughts at the end. Just to give out a disclaimer, what Billy is saying in this episode might not all be true, as a majority of it is all conspiracy theories or made-up stories. The episode mentions that Billy had 2 assault charges from the past before he had turned 30 years old. Billy was trained by Stu Hart, but Rip Oliver's son, Larry, said in the episode that Rip was the one who trained Billy Jack. Later on, Billy went to the Portland sports arena as he was looking for work, as Billy was from Portland, Oregon. Wrestler David Sierra said in the episode that when he saw Billy at the Portland sports arena, he was very jacked during that time. Rip and David talked to a wrestling owner named Don West, as they had told him to hire Billy Jack because they thought that Billy Jack could bring in money due to his physique. In 1982, Billy became a huge star at the Pacific Northwest as he donned a gimmick that was inspired by the movie Billy Jack from 1971, which starred actor Tom Lawless. Tom's character in the movie was a karate fighter and a dangerous guy. Billy's gimmick was a face or good guy who tried to stop the bad guys. It was said in the episode that Billy loved the fans as he would have pizza with the kids when asked. But with his wrestling co-workers, he was a loner, as said by wrestling referee Bill Fonzie Alfonso. Bill said that Billy was a different guy to be around with when Billy was wrestling at a Florida promotion. In 1986, Billy got offered to wrestle at WWF, World Wrestling Federation, as he wrestled at the WrestleMania that was at Detroit, which had over 100,000 people. Ken Patera used to be a tag team partner with Billy when they were in WWF. At one point they came out with chainsaws, as the idea came from Pat Patterson. One of Billy's finishing moves was Full Nelson. During his time in WWF, Ken said that Billy was a really nice guy at first. Some of his other wrestling co-workers do not think that way. Wrestler Len the Grappler said that Billy was very aggressive and never trusted him, as Billy would knock the heck out of anyone. When Billy wrestled with his opponents through the archive clips, it looked as though he was strangling them to death. Bill said that Billy was like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of guy, as he saw Billy snap a couple of times back then. In one incident, Billy slapped wrestling manager Percy Pringle because he did not like the wrestling finish. Some of his wrestling co-workers knew that he was capable of doing bad things, but never thought that Billy would be capable of murdering someone. In another situation, a fire alarm was activated by wrestler Alexis Smirnoff, thus causing Billy to beat the crap out of Alexis in the bathroom. Another situation involved a guy from Tampa, Florida, looking at Billy and had told Billy that wrestling was fake. Billy then punched the Tampa guy in the face 20 times. Billy had also gone to jail many times for beating up people, and was said in the episode that the people that he would beat up deserved it. Dark Side of the Ring then focuses more on interviewing Billy in jail, and an audio interview from 2019, as he talks a little about his past and the troubles that he had gone through. He is in the Multnomah County Detention Center in Oregon, where it is a part of the Norma County Justice Jail. The Dark Side of the Ring Productions received an unsolicited, voluntarily offer on behalf of Billy Jack Haynes months after he was arrested. When they filmed the interview, Billy had been incarcerated for 6 months. Billy had been charged with second-degree murder and has said that he did not kill his wife. While he was being interviewed in jail, Billy said that he loved 2 human beings, which are his dad and his wife, as Billy said that he allegedly murdered, but believes that he did not murder her. He said that his father was blind and that he was put in a wheelchair. As a person, Billy was introverted but had a manipulated agenda. Ken recalled that Billy would check into a hotel and disappear. Billy said that back then, he was heavily taking narcotics. He said that he would take 20 to 25 pills a day, such as Vicodin and Percocet. In an archive clip, Billy did a promo where he said to not do drugs, even though he did end up doing drugs himself. The episode also talked about Billy being late to a wrestling event and looking very out of it. Because he was late, Billy ended up not getting a big push from Vince McMahon and was thrown out for missing and being late for his match. Billy said that his time in WWF ended on a plane ride, while you could see him talking to his attorney, probably to make sure that if it was okay for him to talk about his departure from WWF. Mike said that Billy had overdosed on codeine on the plane as Billy had foam coming out of his mouth. He said that he almost died from the plane ride, but ended up getting fired. After WWF, Billy went back to Oregon and wrestled at Oregon Wrestling Federation. When he was in OWF, he left a lot of guys hanging, or in easier terms, waiting, as Billy hardly showed up to the promotion. Billy said that the reason why he was let go is because of the pills. His wrestling career would end there, as no promotion wanted to hire him after that. In another archive clip, it looked as though Billy did not know where he was. As you hear his audio interview from 2019, Billy said that in the 70s he was a cocaine dealer, as he had been living a double life of crime. He mentioned in the audio interview that he made 30 grand a week. Dark Side of the Ring also showed a news report clip from 2017 where Billy had claimed that he was a part of a murder that involved 2 teenage boys that were left for dead on a railroad track in Saline County, Arkansas. In the 2017 news interview, Billy said that the boys were already murdered when he had to carry them to the tracks. The murders happened on August 23rd, 1987. Billy said to the news that the 2 murdered boys were involved in some type of drug deal. He also mentioned that the drug dealers had told Billy to supervise the drug off and record it through the camera. He said that during the murder, he wore a wrestling mask. Before he had showed up, the drug dealers had already killed the boys, as Billy saw from afar. The train conductor somehow saw the boys at the tracks and stopped the train. In the Dark Side of the Ring episode, Billy had claimed that there was a videotape that he had filmed on the night of the murder. Billy said that it was either stolen or destroyed. The case was even mentioned in a segment from the Unsolved Mysteries show. One of the parents from one of the murdered boys and her private investigator have both passed away as of today. Law enforcement did not take Billy's statement seriously, so they did not arrest him. Sadly, the case still remains unsolved to this day. Billy made another claim that he had done an inside job with 2 officers. He said that during that time, Billy was doing cocaine drug dealing. As he was sitting down for his interview with Dark Side of the Ring, Billy said that he would like to talk about the drug dealing days, but cannot. You could see Billy looking at his attorney as he tells him if Billy should speak about the drug dealing days, but his attorney said no and to leave it alone. Since the 2017 claim that Billy has made on the news, he has made more interviews through the years. Jim Cornette said that Billy would look very ridiculous in his interviews, as one interview, for example, had Billy with a mop bob haircut from 2019. Billy said in that same 2019 interview that his mother and his uncle were murdered by 2 politicians when he was 15 years old. Throughout that time, Billy would insert himself into newsworthy events since coming out with the allegation of the 2 boys at the train tracks. One of those situations involved Billy delivering a kilo of drugs to Andy Gibb in 1978. In another one of his theories or stories, Billy said that the Clinton family were a part of a Colombia drug dealing situation and that they had allegedly called Billy. He also thought that Vince McMahon Sr. was his biological dad. Many interviewers in this episode thought that Billy was making all these crazy stories up. Billy also said that the 9/11 attacks were an inside job. He seemed to go to many interviews in order to get as much money as he could. Then on January 10, 2006, Billy was supposed to get killed by a guy named Jimmy Longoria. A journalist named Phil Stanford collected many papers and photos of Billy at the hospital that involved Jimmy Longoria. In the pictures, Billy had many broken bones and multiple stitches on his body. Billy said that he was called to the Longoria family on the day that he got beat up, as the Longoria family are the biggest crime families in Portland, Oregon. 2 of Jimmy's men had beat the living crap out of Billy, as he had to play dead in order to stay alive. In a 2009 interview, Billy said that he could see through one of his eyes because of the beating that he endured. It was said that Billy had stolen $200,000 from the Longorias, as Phil thought that Billy had ripped the family off. The episode mentions that Jimmy Longoria has denied any involvement in the 2006 beating of Billy. Darkside the Ring also mentioned that Billy might have been involved with the mafia during the 80s. Billy said that he allegedly got involved in the death of Michael Frank because Billy wanted to save his father, as he said that his father would allegedly be killed if Billy Jack did not kill Michael. In the episode, they show how Billy would collect binders of newspaper articles. Larry said in the episode that Billy had stolen his dad's pills and was taking advantage over Rip Oliver. He then said that back in the day, his dad was also a junkie and believed that Billy had stolen a lot of money from Rip's taxes. In another statement, Billy denied ever stealing from Rip, as he told Darkside the Ring that the allegations are BS. Sometime in 2019, after coming out with his crazy stories, Billy began a relationship with Jan Beecraft, who is the mother of Todd Beecraft, a wrestler back in the day and a friend of Billy Jack's. The Beecraft family did not accept Billy's relationship with Jan, as she was 85 at the time, while Billy was 70. Todd unexpectedly died in 2021, and days after he passed, Billy married Jan. A neighbor of Billy and Jan's, named Tom Matthew, shows us the house where Billy and Jan had lived in the episode. Dawn, Billy's friend, said that Jan had dementia and that Billy had taken good care of her. He also said that the last time he had spoken to Billy was 2 months before the murder. Days later, Billy had shot Jan. Billy said in prison that Jan's dementia had gotten worse as he could not handle it anymore and called her murder a mercy killing. On February 8, 2024, Billy was arrested for Jan's murder. His neighbor Tom said that Billy was a really nice guy before the murder had happened. In the beginning of the episode, we see Billy getting arrested from a news report clip. When Billy committed the murder, many people did not know who he was until they looked him up and saw that he was a wrestler in the 1900s. Larry said at the end of the episode that he does not care if anything happens to Billy as of now. Billy's friend Dawn said that Billy loved Jan a lot as he was trying to defend himself. Jim said that people would remember Billy Jack because of the murder instead of his wrestling career. At the end of the episode, Billy pleaded not guilty for second-degree murder and for an unlawful use of a weapon in connection to the death of Jan. Darkside the Ring tried to contact the Beecraft family, but they never responded back. Billy thinks that he will get out of prison soon. At the end of the episode, it states that Billy's trial is set for December 2025, as of this year. Interviewers for this episode are Billy Jack Haynes, Jim Cornette, Dave Meltzer, Larry Oliver, wrestler and son of Rip Oliver, David Sierra, the Cuban assassin, Mike Miller, Bill Fonzie Alfonso, wrestling referee, Ken Patera, Len Denton, the grappler, Phil Stanford, journalist, Don Humphers, friend of Billy Jack, and Tom Matthew, neighbor. I give this episode a 7 out of 10, as I felt like it left out some important information, such as Billy Jack's childhood and other things revolving around his past. It was a lot to keep up with, as we have the people interviewing for this episode, Billy being interviewed from prison, and his 2019 interview, as I tried my best to organize this episode review. Whether I believe him or not, it sounds like he told all these stories so that he could get some cash. Maybe looking for a job was very hard for him back then. That part where his friend Todd, who is also Jan's son, had died unexpectedly does seem very suspicious. Honestly, I think Billy did kill his wife, because when you're caring for an elderly, it's not an easy job, as there is such a thing as elderly abuse. Maybe it was undiagnosed concussions, because he was jacked in the 80s, and a lot of wrestlers during the 80s end up being violent or losing their mind. It still should have never happened to that poor lady. I think Billy was in the mafia, as his story reminds me a little of Dino Bravo, who was involved with the mafia but ended up getting murdered somehow. The made-up stories also reminded me of Marty Jannetty's story as well. Whatever the real answer is, someone died and Billy Jack seems to be the only witness that was there. Although the episode was missing some information, there seems to be a pattern when it comes to the wrestlers of the past. getting into things such as drugs, violence, and unstable mentality. It is sad, but wrestling in the past has changed as of today, most notably in WWE. I'm just glad that we have Dark Side the Ring so we can hear these wrestlers' stories and what they have gone through in the past, as well as hearing what they have learned or what their people have learned at the end of it. Billy Jack may be sus, but what I learned is that it's never okay to sell yourself out or insert yourself in a situation that you should not be in order to get attention. Bad press is never good press, and we should start normalizing it so that there are less mistakes in the world and so no one else gets harmed in the process as well. That's all I have for this episode review, but comment, like, or subscribe if you want to, and take care of your mental health and everyone around you, and I'll do the same too. Bye guys.